Hello and welcome to NDTV. I'm Anjali Iswal, and on this show today, we are going to take a hard look at microfinance in India. Microfinance industry is one that is reaching the poorest sections of the society and enabling and empowering them financially so they can realize their dreams. Now, popular perception is that after demonetization, this industry suffered a massive setback and is still struggling. But it seems that the perception might be wrong. To talk about the industry and how it has sprung back after demonetization, we have a panel of sector leaders and thought leaders who are joining us in the studio. But before we begin this discussion, let's take a look at a few facts and data. Now, on the basis of data reported by lending institutions as of September 2017, microfinance industry has total loan portfolio of rupees 1,11,539 crores. Loan portfolio is the amount it has lent out to people. This represents a growth of 5% over quarter one of financial year 2017-18. It is estimated that this aggregated loan amount outstanding roughly represents over 90% of the total industry portfolio, excluding self-help groups. As of September 2017, banks are the largest provider of microcredit with a loan outstanding of more than 40,000 crores. Now, this accounts for about 36% of total microcredit lending. Non-banking finance companies, MFIs, as a group are the second largest providers of the microcredit with a loan amount outstanding of rupees 35,000 crores, in fact more than 35,000 crores. This accounts for 32% of total industry portfolio. Now, SFBs or small finance banks have a total loan amount outstanding of more than rupees 28,000 crores with total share of 25%. Now, these are some data, some facts, some numbers that we are throwing at you, but we'll simplify it all. And to do that, we have a very esteemed panel with us. Let me introduce them to you. We have Ratna Vishwanathan. She's CEO, MFIN, which is Microfinance Institution Network. She has extensive experience across a range of departments of the Government of India and development sector. She's a director on the board of Mudra. She's also a member of the RBI's Financial Inclusion Advisory Committee and chairperson of the South Asian Microfinance Network. We also have with us Mr. Devesh Sachdev. He's CEO and director, Fusion Microfinance. He's also the vice president of MFIN. His organization is one of the few that has pioneered digital financial literacy for their borrowers. Also with us is R. Bhaskar Babu. He's MD and CEO, Suryoday Small Finance Bank. He has more than 25 years of experience in banking and financial services. And we are also joined by Dr. Alok Mishra. He's professor and chairperson, School of Public Policy and Governance, Management Development Institute, that is MDI. He has 24 years of experience in the sector and has provided consulting services to various multinational agencies. So, thank you so much for joining us. We are very happy to have you all with us. And as I was giving all these numbers and I was talking about how it works in the sector, first thing that we mentioned is that there is a popular perception. People think that the sector is struggling. I would like to begin with you. This whole perception that demonetization really took a hard hit on you and that even till now this sector has not been able to revive. Is this true or not?
Well, that's actually a very nuanced answer because I can't say a yes or a no, it's not a binary. The fact is that demonetization did affect our sector because a large part of the sector is cash driven, because it's small ticket size loans to women from low income households. And so yes, the lack of currency in circulation did affect the business to a certain extent. What affected the business more than any of this, it was not really the lack of currency. We expected that to come back around March and we thought it would all be all right. But there was some low level, I won't even call them political, it was more people with political aspirations at ground level who kind of threw the dialogue out of gear by promising loan waivers to women borrowers, and this was something nobody saw coming. It didn't have a past precedence, which is why actually it hit us more than actually the whole exercise of demonetization did. Having said that, yes, it has been a hard year, but unlike in the past, we've seen right through 80-85% collections, despite women having to go and stand in line and change currency and come back to pay us. And past February, the new loans that are being given out, so recoveries have again started coming back like they were in the past when we had less than 1% NPA, which means that yes, we got hit, but we are recovering. So, it is not all gloom and doom.
Dr. Mishra, I'd like to bring you in here because the sector says that it's not all gloom and doom and they have revived. What is your opinion right now?
I think that's true. There was initial pain, as Ratna talks about, it primarily being a cash-based economy where the repayments were happening in cash. In the initial months, not days, I would say, in months up to March, April, the remonetization had effect where poor persons were not able to pay because the old currency notes were not acceptable. And in microfinance, as you know, because when we keep the industry keeps the installments at a smaller intervals, whether it is weekly or fortnightly, so that the amounts do not grow larger and people find it difficult to pay. So, as it became longer, 2 months, 3 months, the people found the lump sum amount difficult to pay, and that is what caused the delinquency. But as after March and April, we see as the delinquency dropped because fresh disbursements started happening from microfinance institutions. And by now, as I am told that the entire sector's portfolio at risk has come down to 5% in portfolio at risk 30 days category. So, that shows that the sector is bouncing back and bouncing back very strongly. And I feel that the remonetization had another positive effect also, though 6 months of pain was there. But now there is a lot of emphasis on electronic transfers, transfer of money directly into the bank account, and people are investing, the institutions are investing and getting collections also digitally. So, overall a positive effect, though the initial pain of 6-7 months was definitely there.
Okay, so this digital is that we will revisit ahead in the show, but Mr. Sachdev, we do hear even Dr. Mishra says that yes, it has revived, but how did it manage that? Because we have seen earlier also the sector went through another crisis. So, do you feel that the crisis has actually helped you emerge stronger?
Yeah, I think I agree with the fact that with the crisis we are coming out very strong. It is because of the learnings we had in the previous crisis which happened in 2010-11. And primarily I give this credit to the resilience of the clients, the clients, because they understand the connection we have, they understand there are no other alternatives, and the way they have coming back and paying us is one very important factor. On the other side, I think you have to give credit to the practitioners, people who are in this kind of who are running these enterprises. I think they come with we all come with a huge mission, and we understand the risks in the sector. So, we have we are all driven by the fact that this whole financial inclusion agenda. So, the way the teams and everybody is tuned to really fight, and they understand these kind of risks. And also the fact that as a association, as all practitioners, we have had huge learnings post Andhra. We understood that we all have to be together. There's a lot of policy advocacy we have to do. We have to fight a lot of perception issues, issues around interest rate, issues around the legal form. So, I think there has been a lot of work which has happened over the years, which really helped the sector during this time to really come out of it so soon.
The perception issues that you are mentioning, now this is something that we've heard consistently, that the media had sort of given a perception to everyone that the sector is really struggling. Is there I would like to ask you, Mr. Bhaskar, do you feel that there is a lack of communication maybe, or your communication strategy maybe needs to be changed now so that media also is able to understand you better and is able to send that message across to the people you want to contact also properly?
I guess so. I think one of the narratives usually that's put on the industry is in terms of the high interest rates. The fact that to do service at the doorstep is expensive, especially for small ticket loans. The amount remains the same, and on a smaller base the percentage is higher. I think the learning from this particular crisis point is to really enhance our communication to reach multi-stakeholders. Includes district administration, includes media, includes government, and probably even regulators in terms of what we actually do. So, I think we did take up that exercise post demonetization, and then MFIN did an effective job on that. But instead of being probably a one-off exercise, which we do only post some crisis, it has to become a continuous activity. So, once that is done, I think also industry has to demonstrate over a period of time that the interest rates will keep coming down with increase in ticket sizes. The small finance banks coming into existence should probably demonstrate that. I think that is a need for doing that effectively.
That's true. So, Ratna, obviously communication has been a problem, but what was the major, apart from communication, do you see there was any other reason that demonetization, of course, was impacting you, but the perception was so wrong? Is there something that you feel that the sector needs to look at now?
Well, I think in terms of quite aggressive external facing communication, we've come down some way down that road over the past 2 years. We've been building, particularly because MFIN is an association body, so it represents the sector, and there was a need to have external facing interaction with various stakeholders as far as the sector is concerned. So, we've kind of professionalized it, we've actually set up a communication vertical. So, there's a constant engagement both externally with various stakeholders, but even more importantly, a lot of our perception risk and the narrative that really goes wrong is at the very ground level.
Yes.
So, we've made a lot of incursions into that area, where now we've set up a network through our the PR agency that we use, where we are able to do damage control at ground level, because that's actually where the whole thing starts and starts snowballing. So, perception being equal to reality, that is where you need to counter it first. And so, that is something we've been steadily building, and the board and everybody has been extremely supportive of the process. And as we go ahead, we want to strengthen this. In fact, during demonetization, the fact that we had an existing communication apparatus in place really helped us in a lot of ways. We put out notices, advertorials, press conferences, all of that, and yes, of course, it has a short shelf life, but at least it didn't do the kind of damage of snowballing into perception that remained lasting. So, it was really helpful, but like Bhaskar said, there is also a much greater need to actually this kind of communication to deal especially with state and district administration,
yes,
because that is where our whole crux of the issue lies, and the fact remains that at that level incumbents keep changing every 2 years or 3 years. So, it is not like I have made one attempt and it is done. So, that is a consistent effort, and those are the efforts we are really strengthening.
Mr. Sajdev, you wanted to say something particularly about this, communication.
Yeah. There are two issues around perception. One is what Bhaskar said on interest rate. Another thing is how our people behave with the client. We have to appreciate one fact, that the kind of pressure the field staff and the people at the branch were there, but the whole industry came together, came out with the common code of conduct and the fair practice code, and I think the whole behavior towards and how we handle the client disruptions and all that with the kids kids glove is, I think, one good outcome of this whole thing. And I think that goes to say about a lot about the way we have behaved as a sector.
So, these are a few takeaways that the sector has taken, but there have been some experts who have said that this sector might not survive. We heard the Deputy Governor of RBI a couple of years back saying that the banks will take over and there will be no sector. Do you, as an independent expert, feel so too?
Well, I think that the statement which you are referring to is, I think, already 5 or 6 years or 7 years old, and we have not seen anything happening on that front. See, I believe that India is such a diverse country. Whether you see the geographic, whether you see the social exclusion, whether you see the societal needs, that you need so many variety of players, variety of institutions, and that is what the earlier governor of RBI, you were referring to one deputy governor, I am referring to one ex-governor, Y.B. Reddy, who said that way back in 1999 when I was in NABARD, and there was the self-regulation initiative being said, and he said, let us not regulate, let 1,000 flowers bloom. So, I still subscribe to that. Let each player play to its own advantage. For example, I firmly believe that despite all the talk of bank-led financial inclusion, telco-based financial inclusion, MFI's microfinance model with its relationship banking, last door banking, touch point banking, that will continue to play an effective role. It cannot be replaced. Technology will make the process efficient, but you cannot take that away. So, to come back to your question, I do not agree with that. I think everybody has a role to play, and microfinance institutions have a very important role to play, especially for lending to sections at bottom of the pyramid, whom the formal sector always shies away because of variety of reasons.
We'll continue with this entire discussion and talk about digitization and also the kind of competition now that this sector is seeing. But it's time for a short break right now.